Hey, what's up, guys? It's Father's Day. So, what I got here today is I'm gonna make some food for my daughters and my mother that is coming. My dad's not coming. He don't like to do a whole lot. So, I got my chicken here. I'm gonna do a little brine for a couple of hours here. So I smashed up a little bit of garlic. Then I'm going to take some brown sugar. With chicken, you only want to brine it a couple of hours because you brine it longer than that, if you're working against yourself, you don't want to do that. So start with the solid pieces, such as our, such as our garlic. Go in with some brown sugar. And I suppose you're supposed to measure this. However, that's not what I'm doing. Then I'm going to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Maybe a splash more. Then hold on one second. I forgot the key ingredient. Whenever you do a brine, you have to add salt, because salt penetrates the muscles of the chicken. So there's got to be salt. You can't skip the salt, and I almost forgot it. So a good amount of salt there. Then I'm going to add some water. Where I live, I have well water, so cannot use tap water here, sink water. Can't do it. Go ahead and seal this on up and let this chill for a couple hours. Just like so. So, if you watch this channel, then you may know that I made this same thing last weekend. And the reason that I did is because it's been a little while since I made ribs and chicken, which, here's the thing. Today, I'm not cooking for just myself. So, I wanted to do a little practice run and make sure that I got it right. Because I got my family coming over here. It's Father's Day. That's what I wanted for Father's Day. You know, I used to have a lot of people come over and eat around the same table that you see here. My mother gave me this table. And, you know, since I've moved out of that bigger house into this little old apartment by myself, don't really have much people come over here and eat, except for that one girl I was dating for a little while. And that ended. But, so, what I wanted for Father's Day was for my family to come over here and eat. And they love my ribs. Season generously. Making a mess. Using today this Weber Rubs Smoky Brown Sugar. Brown sugar makes a nice bark. So fairly confident this is going to be good. It smells good, actually. It smells really good. I know you see a lot of the professionals that do their cooking videos. They wear gloves and all that shit. And you know, I was watching a video yesterday, this guy cooking, you know, and acting like a goddamn cartoon character, honestly. You know, the way he's acting, it's like, that's not fucking normal. Like, you do that for fucking views. You ain't gonna see me do that shit. I'm just me. Then on top of that, I do these videos because I like to do them. You know, it's just a hobby. I just like doing them. So, long story short, got my family coming over here. Gonna eat with me. We got some goodies coming up. Stay tuned. The ribs and chicken are the least of what I'm doing today. Season that nice and generously. I'll let that sit for a little while. So if you view this channel, then you're familiar with this setup because I've done this multiple times. So what we're going to do here, the way you cook slow on a Weber, you know, I live by myself, so I don't need a big grill. Really, I'll probably end up getting one again eventually. But so when you want to cook slow on a Weber grill, you get this contraption here called slow and sear. You got your coal chamber, your water chamber. You light your coals here on one side separated from the others. You let those get white hot and you spread these on out. Add your wood and these coals will burn slow. We'll check back in here in a little bit. All right guys, so the coals are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and break these on down. Join them with those white hot coals. I'm gonna add a couple pieces of wood. No, it might be too big. Fit. There it is. Got it to fit. I don't want to put too much wood. Too much wood. You don't want too much of a smoke flavor. You want too much of a wood flavor. You want the right amount of wood flavor, not too much. So, get these going. All right. Now we wait. All right, guys, let me get on to the next thing here. Got a whole bunch of jalapenos. So, I'm gonna make some jalapeno poppers. And I've got a unique way of doing this. So, the way I'm gonna do it, I promise you, you have likely never seen before. So I'll show you. Now, the simple part, cut them open like so. I apologize, I was a little unprepared. Cut them open, scoop out the jalapeno goodness. Now, because guests are going to be eating these, I'm not going to put this back into the cream cheese, which I normally do. I'll take that and break it down and put it back in the cream cheese and keep that heat. But because these are for guests, I'm not going to do that. So hollow them out like so, and I've only got about 1 million more to go. All right, so on to the next part here. This is going to be 2-part here. This meat here is going to be partially topping for the nachos that I'm making, and secondly, part of the filling for the jalapeno poppers. I like to take a little bit of taco meat and add it to the cream cheese for the jalapeno poppers. It adds, to me, a flavor to it that is somewhat necessary, I'd say. I'm also going to add a little bit of jalapeno. A little bit of jalapeno, let that break down. All right. Next thing we got here is, my kids grew up eating this. This was my ex-sister-in-law, as far as I'm aware, came up with this idea. This is back before everybody had the internet in their pockets. So maybe it's a common thing, I don't know. She came up with it. She's dead and gone now. Rest in peace, Penny. So it's a chili no bean and whatever nacho cheese that you prefer. I use the one that she always used, just the Tostitos one. Just mix that in there. So this will be the cheese topping for the nachos that I'm going to make for my daughters. Going to also top it with a little bit of that taco beef. Yeah, of course my kids always liked to eat this, and then whenever their friends came over and I would make this for them, yeah, of course everybody loves this. It's delicious. So let this cook and we'll come back when the next part's ready. Alright, so I kind of made a boo-boo here. Last time I made this there was four chicken thighs in each pack that I got from Costco. They come in individual packs. Well, there's only 3 in this one, so I guess I'll just have to tell a little white lie and say I already ate mine. Probably should have used the binder first. Oopsie daisy. I'm gonna season with this cowboy butter. Typically I use that Creole seasoning, but I want to try this. I think it might turn out pretty good. I'm gonna make the same mistake. Add a little bit of olive oil. Smooth it around. Checked on those ribs a minute ago. Cooking a little bit slower than last time. You know, a lot of that has to do with how much humidity is in the air. How slow it cooks. So we'll add these chickens to the grill. Get them going. It is almost 11 o'clock. My family's due to be here around 1 o'clock. Alright, I got those chickens out there getting some smoke. On to the next item, which is our Ken's Spicy Beans, which at one time was the name of the channel. I've done changed the name of the channel a few times. One time I changed it to White Trash something. I don't know. King of White Trash. Yeah, I lost a lot of viewers just for changing the name. Well, what had happened is I'd moved in this little small trailer, and I guess, I don't know, I felt like white trash, and I felt like that's what people were going to say anyway, with me living in that little old trailer, so I just named it that, and just beat them to it, you know, kind of like Eminem, you know, I diss myself before you can. Well, I lost a bunch of subscribers for renaming the channel that, and then now it's back to Cooking with Ken, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep it that. So, brown this beef on up. I'm going to go ahead and strain it. Once we got it strained, we're going to go ahead and add our jalapenos. I saved some of these inners from the jalapeno poppers. Save some of those to go in there. Let that start to break on down for a little while before we add the beans. Okay, you know, you could just add the beans pretty much right away. Not a big deal. I just wanted to do it that way for whatever fucking reason. Alright. 2 cans of beans. I'll let my family take some of this home with them. I'm making so much of it. what I do with it, if I do make too much a lot of times, is this actually goes really good with eggs. You in the morning mix this up with eggs. It pairs really well with it. Mix this up. Use any kind of beans that you want to use. I've used lima beans. I started out, my original was pinto beans, but over time come to seems like I like the black beans the most, at least for this period of time. Maybe I'll change my mind on that at some point. Okay, now Badia fajita seasoning. Nothing complicated. Simple recipe. Came upon this by just curiosity, I guess. One day I made it, and turns out it was really good. So the way that I do it, that I've been doing it for 8 or 10 years or whatever it is that I've been making this, is I sprinkle some across the top just like you've seen, and then mix it up like so. And do repeat about one more time. And yes, too much of this will ruin the dish. So about like that. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water, just to kind of make a sauce similar to what we're doing there with our tacos. You add a little water and it makes a sauce, and then you let that sauce kind of break on down, you know. So add a little bit of water, starts sort of a sauce, then just let cook. All right, so I got my cream cheese, 2 packs. Added a little bit of this bacon stuff here. I don't know, just occurred to me to give it a shot, you know. Got my taco meat over there almost ready. Once that taco meat's ready, we're gonna add it to that bowl. The heat from the meat helps mix it on up and makes it a little bit more pliable. We'll get that mixed up, get it stuffed in those peppers and in the oven. All right, guys, so these ribs have cooked for about 2 hours. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna spritz my butcher paper, some apple cider vinegar, there. Wrap them up. As I mentioned before, my mother's coming, and she likes her ribs a little bit more firm. You know, for most of the years of my life, I've always, since I've learned how to cook ribs, and everybody loves my ribs, I've always wrapped them in the aluminum foil. And that does make the bones pull just right out of them. But over the course of time, I'm thinking that I've kind of developed a little more of my mother's taste in ribs, and I guess I kind of like the firmness a little bit. And with the butcher paper, it keeps that bit of firmness. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some water back to our trough. This is water, even though it's in a vinegar jug. as stated before, we have well water here. So you gotta treat your toilet tank with vinegar. You know, I'm gonna add a little bit more coals. Take this off and add some more coals. It's very likely I didn't need to add more coals, but you know, with them running that low, I didn't want to take a chance. Let me tell you, it is hotter than a firecracker out there. All right, so getting ready to go ahead. We got our taco meat here. As I said, some of this is going to be topping for the nachos, but I like to add a little bit to the sour cream. For one, makes it easier to mix up, and for two, it adds a little bit more flavor to it. Yeah, that's so much easier to mix up. It's helping melt it. See that? It's helping melt it. Melt it on there. I just had this idea one day and I tried it, and these things just came out delicious. Getting ready to put these in the oven, and I am about up against the clock here because I got about an hour and 15 minutes if my daughters come on time. They usually don't arrive on time. What the hell am I doing? All right, so I'm going to, if I can figure out where to put things, I'm going to take and add the filler to these like so. It is a little bit of a messy job, you know. All right, I'm going to do this about 15 million more times, and then I'll show you what I got. All right, got that all done. Now it's time to make it rain on these motherfuckers. Yes, sir. Add some cheese before they go on in the oven. Go on in the oven. Yes, sir. All right, in the oven, 350 degrees. All right, guys, so I'm gonna try to get as much of this in before my family gets here. It's nearly 1:30. They're on the way. So here's the jalapeno poppers that I made. I'm gonna put them back in the oven to keep them warm. I got my tortilla chips and the taco meat and cheese sauce to go with that, sour cream and so on. I'll sneak a picture of it once it's plated and add that picture in probably right about this moment here. All right, guys, so let's see what we got here. Go ahead and take them on out. Oh, they are tender. Oh my. Oh my. They are way more tender than I had anticipated. Look at that. You know, I cooked them in the paper because I wanted them to be a little firm. Maybe I should have let them rest a little longer and they would have been. Wow, these are just, these want to fall apart. Oh boy, that sun reflecting off that aluminum foil is about to blind me. All right, like I said, family's on the way. Go ahead and get this in our container here. Whoa, whoa, I'm about to be blinded here. The sun is reflecting off that foil, something serious. I'm gonna leave the chicken on the grill for just a little bit longer. I'm gonna take that off just yet. Look at that, guys. Oh, definitely gonna blind me. All right, gonna take that inside, let it rest in the oven on warm till my guests get here. Alright guys, so a lot's missing from this video, but you know, the purpose of this was just for me to show you guys my Father's Day and share it with you. So this is all that's left. I got some rice that was brought, my spicy beans, a couple of ribs, my taco meat for the nachos, a few jalapeno poppers, and you know, I gave most of it away, which that was the whole point. What I wanted for Father's Day was for my family to come over here and sit down at this table with me and eat, and that's what I got, and that's what I wanted. So most of the food was given away, perfectly fine. Ribs came out phenomenal, chicken came out phenomenal, everything was great. I wish I could have showed you the nacho plate. I was actually just about to show it on video, and then I got the knock at the door and had to cut it short, and that didn't make the cut. However, this was my Father's Day, and it was a good one. So you guys let me know what you think, and have a good day or night or morning or whatever time it is that you're watching this.